Hello, Brave Awakened Ones. What's up? QV here. How you doing? I am in the AA, Atlanta. I wanted to do a follow-up on my uncle who was diagnosed and died due to COVID. I finally spoke to my aunt. Now, my uncle passed away about a month ago in New York City, okay? He's in his 80s. He has comorbidities. He has high blood pressure, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and also he was recently hospitalized, I'm talking just a few months ago, for acute renal failure, okay? Now, he's never done dialysis or anything like that. They just put him on diuretics. Now, his renal issues is due to his diabetes and high blood pressure. He also was a smoker for many, many years, like 30 years or something like that. But he stopped smoking like 20 years ago. But still, 30 years of smoking, damage is done. Okay, so he was hospitalized, and like by day 3, 4, I was talking to my cousin, his son, in New York, and he said that, you know, actually he's doing a lot better. He's probably going to get discharged, they said. I'm like, okay, fantastic. They're going to, you know, they want to check him for COVID just to make sure before he gets discharged. They test him. I call my cousin back the next day. Oh, he's not doing well at all. What was it, yeah, the next day. He's not doing well at all. He's regressing. He came out positive for COVID. I said, what are his medications? I don't know. There's some clear liquid on the IV, and I know they shot him with something, you know. He's a layman, so, you know, no medical experience whatsoever, so he doesn't know anything. I was trying to get him to tell me what was on his MARS, his medical record, his medication record, but he couldn't tell me. And my aunt was not there. Now, my aunt was taken to the ED department, the emergency room, to get tested for COVID also, and she tested negative. Now, she's in her 80s. She doesn't have any comorbidities. But how is it this elderly couple sleeping in the same bed in New York City, wouldn't they both be positive for COVID? Now, a day and a half later, after they saying my uncle's supposed to be discharged, he's dead. Cause of death, COVID. Now, the way my cousin described to me, my uncle started having problems breathing. Anybody out there, medical, nurses, doctors, nurse practitioners, listen to me. Shortness of breath, wet cough, crackly lungs, okay, having a hard time breathing when you're laying down, all right, palpitations, irregular heartbeat. What does that sound like to you? That sounds like fluid overload and hyperkalemia. The man needed dialysis. That's what he needed. He freaking needed dialysis. But instead of giving him like some Kayexalate and sticking a catheter in him and hooking him up to a dialysis machine and dialyzing him, doing a quick, you know, remove some water off of him, they vented him. He died a day and a half later. My aunt was saying, who I was talking to, mind you, she's in her 80s, and she's like, you know, it just doesn't, I'm glad I'm talking to you about this. She brought it up. I felt funny bringing it up. All I said was Happy Mother's Day to her. And she's like, you know, I have to ask you, isn't it kind of weird that they're saying he died of COVID when I was not diagnosed with it and he was the only one diagnosed with it and we sleep in the same bed? And I said, I'm so glad you asked. Yes, I find that very strange. She goes, don't you think maybe it was his kidneys, especially since he just had kidney problems? She goes, I don't know. She goes, you would know. Shouldn't he have had dialysis or something? They didn't do anything. I asked about that, but they wouldn't answer me. You know, I couldn't go to the hospital to visit him. And she goes, you know, your cousin, you know, he wasn't, I don't think he was asking the right questions. He was just so busy being upset about his father being sick. And I was like, those SOBs, they killed my uncle. I'm going to say that I think New York killed my uncle. I really do. I think New York killed my uncle. Because it doesn't make sense that this man did not get dialysis. And for the signs, sorry guys, I'm just looking for my vitamin shop. For the signs and symptoms that he exhibited, and he already had acute renal failure. He has uncontrolled hypertension. He was on a whole bunch of diuretics already. And he's exhibiting all these other things, and you're telling me you put him on a vent? That doesn't sound right. That does not sound right. Now, it is not my place to go digging. She has 5 sons. Well, 4. One died. She has 4 sons. That should be their place to go digging. They finally had the funeral for him after almost 3 weeks. Finally, they released the body. And they had the funeral. Needless to say, my mother could not go to New York. The only people at the funeral were my cousins, which his children, and his brother, and my aunt. So those were the people at the funeral. But she said, you know, it still was a very lovely funeral and stuff like that, because, you know, they had their stuff prepaid and everything. So it's like they were prepared for it. Let's put it that way. So at least that happened. But I'm saying it right now, and I'm saying it with much confidence. My uncle didn't have to die. He really didn't. Yes, he's in his 80s. He was in his 80s and everything. Yes, he had comorbidities, but the man still traveled everywhere. He was still traveling. In fact, when he came back sick, he had gone to Haiti, then he went to Canada, and he was coming back from Canada. So he travels a lot. So it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me at all. I straight up, honestly, and I'm not just talking out of emotion and stuff like that. I am talking as a medical professional. From his signs and symptoms, it makes no goddamn sense. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. The man didn't have to die. He should have had some quick dialysis, pull 2 liters off of him, you know, and that they could have fixed him. They could have fixed him. I could have freaking fixed him. I was the director of the Florida Kidney Institute here in South Florida. So that bothers me even more, because like that was my specialty for many, many years. And then I went to cardiac, but it's like a punch in the gut, knowing what could have fixed him like this. To fix his heart, you could have just given him some Kxalate. You could have just, you know, hooked up, you know, there's different baths, you know, the type of water, the solutions it's used for dialysis, you know, any which ways. So let's see what happens, because I know Cuomo's spot is being blown when it comes to the numbers in New York, and the CDC is being called out also for the numbers. And I know Trump's new press secretary, damn, she is a biatch, being in total control of herself. She took the press and she was like, who's your mama? Who's your mama? Spank them. You know, and she called straight out. She said to the press, you know, what CDC numbers are you quoting? The fake ones that were leaked to you? I was like, bitch. I was like, you go, mama. Go, girl. She's only 32. I was like, you're a little blondie. She not playing. She may be all cute. Little Barbie. She may look like a little Barbie, but she is not playing. I was like, damn, I didn't know she had it like that. But it'd be really nice to see what happened, because I know my aunt listens to me, even though my cousin's there flighty and stuff. But I know my aunt trusts me, so I'm going to keep on top of it, because if I get a whiff of anything, then I can go after the hospital, and I've worked in this facility in New York. I can go after them. I don't like them, so it'd be like retribution. It'd be payback anyway. I'm going to go after them for the sake of my uncle and my aunt. And I will go after New York also. So I'm going to see what happens. My uncle didn't have to die. He didn't have to die like that. He didn't have to die like that. That was messed up. All right, I'm out. Happy Mother's Day, by the way. And yeah, it was real cool. I was cued. You know, I guess they heard me screaming and yelling how I need proof that stuff is happening, and you know, the Clintons are finally going to be purged from Haiti. Ugh, finally. All right. Bye, y'all. Sugar. Bye.